is not a test. This is your biohazard warning system. Due to the new COVID-19 virus, the following measures come into effect. We are announcing the start of the immediately effective nationwide quarantine, which has been officially approved by the United States government. Commencing at the siren, leaving your own household, even for medical or everyday errands, will be a criminal offense and will be punished with state-forced quarantine and, depending on the severity of the quarantine violation, death. Visits to relatives, neighbors, or friends will be illegal during this time. No one has been granted immunity from the quarantine. No citizen or group will be exempt. All emergency services will be suspended until further notice and cannot be reached. Every household will receive a monthly data volume of 400 megabytes in order to keep the network load under control. There is currently no time limit for these measures. We hope for yourself and your family to be prepared for the worst. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
Good afternoon, everyone. T-Speaker 222 XRP Future Millionaire with the side bet on XLM and Future Digibyte OG. So as you hear, guys, we have a situation of brewing. Oh, it's been a while since I played these kind of music, this kind of sound, this kind of an alert. But when times get tough and we need to make a decision and we need to figure out what could possibly be and how fast this could happen, well, I need to get your attention, and sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of fun. So basically what you're seeing here is we did some top-down. I did top-down analytics on the perspectives of where we can go. As you can see, when Bitcoin was way down, we did this as well, and this is what it was coming up with when we were around 30,000. That's when we started changing our opinion. Or when it was at 34, or what was it, like 36, and we did this, and it said it was going to go way up. And then at 40, it showed it needed to go higher. So we adjusted at 40. That's what it was. And now we've been following this uptrending support, but now the top down suggests the apex is going to be somewhere right in here, which we've technically already could have hit that price depending on what we do right now, or we can go up to that 47.5 at most, what I was talking about. But right now we're in this short term uptrending support, descending resistance, and we got to meet somewhere right now. Basically, this is why it's an emergency alert. How we fell down below this, had we have carried on that way, this could have been a disaster. For the moment, it's pulled back up, and the reason it's a disaster, if it doesn't hold this and it falls back down, is this essentially would create the head and neckline, aforementioned head, aforementioned neckline, and then it would finish off the neckline, have a bounce up like this, never able to get back as high as it was, and start making its way down. And it would be a quick and brutal type of calamity for everybody who's in a position, because it's going to be swift. Now, what I can tell you is if it doesn't hold this level, because that's why I said it can hold this level and we can go on our merry way. So, if we go into the 1 minute, you can see exactly what's going on. We came down, we temporarily broke this, but guys, I'm going to caution you with this. See how we came down and used this for a very long time and came up. Now, if this next move just comes right back below it, it's confirming that it's resistance. It hasn't done nothing yet except confirm that upper resistance is too much. And then the short-term top-down was right there. It broke through that. Mine was down here for this range. If it breaks through this range, I can show you very easily what would happen to Bitcoin very quickly. It would fall down because there's nothing in between. It would have to come down and collaborate down to support minimum before a bounce would be at the 43,155 level roughly. So you're talking from the top in that over 3,500 point drop from Bitcoin from the top before it would have a chance at a bounce if it breaks this level. Right now it's doing its damnedest, but it's not finding any volume, guys. So I would caution you if you think right now it's making a hook basically. It's the last attempt to carry a few more people down. So that's what you're looking at if it breaks that, short-term trend line that I created. That's upheld, and then I have the longer-term trend line that it would have to come back down to and bounce off of. That's what everybody should be afraid of. If it doesn't hold that middle bounce at 43, there's a chance that before you could have, it's about the same price, but 42.5, and then you could have a nice run up, but then it would be more of a descending track, and your top end potential might only be 44.5 or 45, or not even. It might be 43.8 if it goes down to 42.5 because you're coming up to the shoulder. So what I'm saying, if you make that pattern, like I'm saying, like that, then logic says you'd bounce off here and come up to here for 45 one more. That's what could possibly happen. If this is the head, this is what's happening. And then it would trade in here for a little bit, and then it would come right down here to 38. And then once it breaks 38, it's over. It's already over once it breaks that neckline because this was all corrupted. And then you guys are going to see how fast this comes down. It's going to suck. But there's an apex. We may not have hit the apex, but this is an emergency alert because if we have, this is the exact steps we're going to go through. There's no other way around it. But like I said, we can go to 47.5. So with XRP, I'm going to show you how we come up with those numbers. If you're new to my channel, this is why you should subscribe. If you're not subscribed to Tom's Army and you've been on the fence, I encourage you to join Tom's Army so I don't fall below that 200 active members of Tom's Army. I think that's a very important number, but not the most important. So with XRP, we're going basically from the back, trying to get the farthest out time frames that will make relevance of what we can do from where we're at. It's actually pretty cool when you start looking at it. Whoops. So this is from the way top, right? If you go all the way to the top, now you start to fill it in. Because of all these points, it never came back above until recently. So when you start to fill it in with XRP, from all the way back, you start to see why I have that 92 cents. These top two are way back, so we can eliminate those. That was from the top. It crossed. Remember that one came above it, so. But this is basically how we knew it was going to come up right in here. In the short term, we knew it could come up in here, and that's why we had that drawing. And it came up into the apex of our part, where we could do it with the support we had with volume. Now, we'll show you the uptrending support, and it all starts to come together if you know how to chart. I don't usually show you guys all of this, but now you're starting to learn. We can start to get on the same page more, and this is what I deal with. I don't need moving averages or any of that bullshit. Like I used to say, I am the moving averages. I am the simple moving averages, the EMA lines, whatever you want to call them. Short term, long term. Because I do shit like this, and it gives me a probability. That's how I knew to buy an AMC and make 15% from Friday. I hate AMC. I hate what they're doing, but it was the easiest 15% I've ever made. Goes like that, like with IDEX. Nothing's happened yet, but I've been in IDEX since 2:30 now. Again, selling out for AMC and getting back in. And it's, you guys will see, it's the same thing. It's the same structure. This stuff holds weight. So now we're in between the 72, 78 if we fall through, right? But we have 2 points before we can get to that 72 to 78 range if we're at the 84 level. I don't know where my 84 went to, but you guys know I had one over here. But the 81 I put in because we're about to drop, and there's a mid bounce point there. And sure as shit, it bounced right off, basically it did bounce off the 81 line. So now, instead of going between 78 and 84, we're trying to see if 81 can hold, or do we have to go back down to 78? Because then if it breaks this 81, we're not going between 78 and 84 anymore, ladies and gentlemen. And that's where it gets dicey. That means we would hold this. Oh, failed. Come up. Nope. And then we're to here. Well, now we can't just come up to here. Now we've got to do all this work just to get back over 81, because that's the mid support level. That's where a lot of traffic is happening, and that's where it's going to fuck a lot of people. Because you could get a 78 to 81 bounce, and then it just comes crashing through. And then the next level, 72. There's no point of even putting a mid bounce. There is no mid bounce in that range. It just trades through that level. And if you don't understand what that means, when we were coming through the ranges, we don't stop at 72 to 78. It's either we're going or we're not. As you can see from here, we went from 72 to 78. When we came down, it's just we go up, we come right back down. Or we're down and we try to go right back up, and then we trade back down. And then it gets dicey again, because from 72 to 58 is very dicey. There's the 64, but we don't need to talk about this yet, but we're starting to fill it in again. And you guys are going to see how this all ties in together, because we start to trade within ranges, and then we know, well, how much would we have to do to break back through and continue going? Well, I can tell you this much. If we break that down through these levels, we're not going to have enough strength to get back up there. So if you're expecting XRP or Bitcoin to do something, it's got to be something that's got to do it fast. It's finished this cup and handle. It blew off the top, like we said, and oftentimes it's bullish right off the top of the handle, because it blows off the top for the extra 5-6% or 10%. Some do 10-20%. But if you can pinpoint the top of the cup, you know where the top of the head is going to form at the top, and it can push up as far. And this one pushed up to about 86 cents, right into our sweet spot, though. That's what I'm saying. We pushed into our sweet zone, and we traded between that descending support and resistance that we already had up there, because we did the top-down analytics. So we know from zone to zone what our support resistance is on the downward. Now we're on a descending 81 cent line on the bottom side of it. Instead of being on a resistance, we're on the support side of it. I mean, the support side, we're on the resistance side, which means now we're going to have to bounce to 79 cents likely. And then the 77, as it's showing you right from the top-down analytics. So that's why I'm the best in the business. Stay tuned, stay blessed.